See, I just want it right now. Yeah, see, I just want it right now. But I gotta stay on it. Keep working, stay patient. In the midst of all this, you can find me stalling. If you find me falling, I'ma get back up though. Even when I feel stuck though, ain't gon' let them win though. Man, this game be cutthroat. Just wait till I cut those. Ayy, see, gotta cut them off. Yeah, cause if the fruit don't grow, no, gotta let them go, though. That's the way that it goes. Ayy, yeah, see, don't get caught up in the way, caught up in it, lost up in it. I said, wait a minute, I've been spending all this money. Man, I work to get it, know my worth, got the vision, I've been working with it. I've been sticking to the plan, though, ain't no telling where I can go.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of CasonPoint. I'm your host, as always, Jason Cason, and the wonderful Mike Trout sitting behind us, ready to rock and roll. This is episode 25 of CasonPoint. Not a ton to talk about, obviously, with quarantine going on, but I have a pretty sweet treat for you guys. And that is, as you saw in our sweet intro a couple seconds ago, we have our very first interview on the podcast, and we will be sitting down with the musical sensation Syspence. You can find him on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. He's got a few EPs out there. Actually, I believe one EP, and he's got a bunch of singles. The dude rips, and he's dope. I've known him for a long time, and we go way back, and he is a ton of fun to talk to, and he is the realest guy I know when it comes to why he does his craft and what motivates him. And for a guy that, like me, who does podcasting, in his free time, it's really cool to sit down with someone like this and talk about kind of their experiences and how they get their product up and running. Really makes you feel good about yourself and really, wants you to root for that person as well. So I really hope you guys enjoyed that interview. But before we get to that, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on in sports. So obviously quarantine and this COVID-19 is really bogging us down, but we still have some hope. So basketball right now is probably the toughest one to really get hopeful for, but there are still conversations about possibly having a season without fans. The NBA doesn't want to move forward until we are comfortable with the amount of testing happening with the players and making sure that the players are healthy. Obviously, the NBA was the first sport to have basically confirmed cases in the sports world, and that sport was still technically going on. So basketball's really skeptical right now, so they're really kind of pulling the reins back. On the other hand, you have baseball, who's very aggressive. They really want to get their season going. They're actually starting to move pieces come May 1st, and what they're going to do is they are going to vote, and the plan is to split the league up to your spring leagues. So Florida and Arizona, and you're going to have all your teams that would play in the Cactus League and all your teams that would play in the Grapefruit League, which is in Florida. They would go to their condos and basically follow the same protocol they would for spring training. There's going to be a little more quarantining, a little more medical oversight, I guess. While they're there, they're going to get tested every day. They're going to be monitored. They're going to be limited to the amount of contact they have outside of their immediate family and teammates and doctors and so on and so forth. And the plan is to trim some of the games down from 9 innings to 7 innings and do double headers to try to catch up with what we've missed so far. And they're probably going to run that play if this gets approved. What it sounds like is baseball is also, like the NBA, waiting for testing to make sure that they can take X amount of tests and not take it away from us as the public, because obviously they don't want to be selfish and take all the tests, and now we can't get tested, but they can go play baseball, which, by the way, I sign up for. I will be here not getting tested just to watch baseball. I know not everyone is like that, and that is fine, and baseball's aware of that as well, and that's why they're going this route. Now, baseball is also, they actually initiated 10,000 antibody tests. So they're going to get all their players tested to see if they have the antibody, which will kind of give them, one, more research, and two, it'll really kind of help that perspective of the amount of players that are in the league that have probably either already had this virus or their body is able to be immune to this virus to really help them schedule the season out and feel more comfortable with what they're doing moving forward. So May 1st, we're going to be hopefully seeing some movement in baseball, which is why I'm wearing my Angels hat, because I miss it. And the next step is they'll probably hit the camps in May, and they will probably do like a mini training camp, get the players back up to speed, get them back into playing shape as best they can, get them hitting balls, taking grounders, pitching, those kinds of things, and then hit the ground running with the season in Arizona. And then from there, if everything clears up before the season is over, then they'll go back to their respective stadiums and they'll start having the conversation about, do we let fans back, and so on and so forth. A lot of decisions that are way above my pay grade. Cannot speculate on what's going to happen. That is just what they are hoping to do. So we should see a little bit more, some more movement leading into May. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Now with football, both college and NFL, there's still some skepticism on if the season's going to start on time. The NFL is trying to stay stronghold and saying that, no, we're going to start on time. The only thing that might change is preseason, but everything's going to be on schedule. You have college football athletic directors saying if fans can't be in the stadiums, why is it safe for players to be in the stadium? So you don't have everyone on the same page. And with football, the nice thing is we still have some time to, one, either get our grips on this virus or really come up with a plan that everyone can dive into and believe in and rock with together. So not necessarily as worried about football. If I was a betting man, which I am, but not all the time, I would say that the NFL and college football will start. I think too much money is to be made with these universities, and obviously the NFL being the most popular sport in America, I don't see the NFL not moving forward. With baseball, I think that being that they've been the most aggressive since the start. I mean, baseball was really trying to start even after, all this hit. They were still going to do the no fans, not as much of a contact sport, so they could probably get things running. So if I were to rank them, what sports will actually happen this year, I would probably put football number 1, baseball number 2, basketball number 3, and hockey number 4. And with hockey, they're kind of in the same boat as the NBA. Half their season's already over. What are they going to do with the second half? Are they going to do some sort of playoff? I wouldn't be surprised if we can kind of get this virus under wraps leading into June, July. I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA and the NHL put together some kind of postseason tournament, which not all the players are on board for. I know a lot of players want to get out there and play, but not a lot of players are okay with crowning a quote-unquote champion when the season wasn't a full season, which I can understand that, and I can understand the guys wanting to play. So I'm sure that with all the money that's involved, they'll get something figured out, but we should hear some more news coming into May, which is very exciting. And as we get this podcast kind of back up and running, we got our video podcast going and our audio, and we're working with some other podcasters to get this network really going. I hope that we can keep getting some content out there for you guys, getting you guys updated as sports go on. Now, speaking of those podcasts, we announced in our live video a couple weeks ago that we will be moving more towards a network. Now, CasonPoint will stay the same. Nothing is going to change. The only difference is I'm starting a network. So instead of it just being CasonPoint and it's sports, we are going to be CasonPoint. Then we will have the CasonPoint Sports Show, which is what this is. And then we are going to have a video game podcast, which we're going to be able to, stream audio if you're, just trying to listen about video games and listen to a couple guys BS. That's what that one's going to be. We're going to be on Twitch and possibly YouTube. We're not quite sure how we exactly want to stream this, but Twitch is definitely going to be the main one there for the video game podcast. We're working on like a lifestyle/relationship podcast that I'm trying to convince my wife to do. So we're still in the first. Well, we'll see. That one's definitely in the works for sure. And then me and my boy are working on a movie podcast for you guys. He is super knowledgeable when it comes to film, cinematography, all that stuff. Huge film nerd, and it's awesome to pick his brain. I know every time I watch movies, the first thing I do is text him and like, "Hey, did you see this?" And then we talk about it. So that's kind of the plan there. So that is the plan. Those are the podcasts that are in the works. We're still not sure if that's where we want to stop, but that's where we're starting. So super excited about that. That's going to start launching probably May 1st as well, and we will have more details as that comes. But other than that, there's really nothing else to cover in sports, so let's get right down to the interview. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, if you guys are interested in watching something that is sports related, tune into ESPN this weekend. The Last Dance, which is Michael Jordan's kind of last stint with the Bulls. He had a camera crew kind of follow him around back then, and they put all this footage together. They had days of footage that they put together, and they've clipped it into 10 episodes. It's going to be a really good watch. I encourage everyone to tune in and watch that. In not so popular sports news, the UFC is working on some things to get some fights rolling. I think their plan, now that the WWE has been deemed essential, they're working on some things. Dana White's talked about a private island to fight off of. They're trying to find a venue that they can get consistent fights and in a location that it will be allowed. Obviously, no fans, and it'll just be media crew and fighters, and the fighters will be tested and blah, the exact same thing that every other sport is going through. But Dana White is working on putting together every week, having some sort of card that you could watch, and whether it has big name fighters or not so big name fighters, I would assume the plan would be to work a TV deal to get the minor fights on like a Fox Sports 1 or an ESPN 2 or something like that every week, and then you can have, once a month or once every 2 months, a big fight card. And, Dana White's talked about having all these fighters on the hook and they're ready to go. So as soon as he gets the thumbs up, they're rocking and rolling. We'll see, but that's kind of the plan. So other than that, I have nothing else for you guys. I'll catch you on the other side. Have fun. Enjoy this interview. It was awesome to spend time with my boy Syspence. So without further ado, here's my guy. So, obviously you're doing a little in-home studio stuff. Walk me through making a song. Like, is it just like, all right, bro, I'm going to do a song, or do you like feel something and you just start spitting? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So I would say like it used to be, I used to always just write stuff. It was always like written or like on the phone, most like just pen, just like hearing a beat, mostly just like listening to beats, either working with like a producer and then having them play beats or instruments or stuff like that to work off the sound. And then once I just like the same thing you do, sometimes you sit there for 2 hours to find that, just that thing that inspires you. So listening to the beat, once I get inspired by something that makes me feel something, then I just go start writing. But lately, since I've had the access to like record all my own stuff, I used to do like going to studios and stuff like that and then pay for the time. And then since I had to pay, I was like, well, I gotta be ready and like have all my stuff on point. So normally I was just writing everything down. But now I've been learning how to mix and master all my stuff. So I've been producing all my own music. So that's gave me a freedom so I can just hit record on the mic and just ding, just find different flows, find different stuff. And then honestly, it creates like a different magic because it's like you're capturing a moment and an energy and like that feeling right when the beat comes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like kind of been like the formula right now is just hear something and then yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, it was so funny because when we were talking about, I was talking to Kayla about doing this interview. She was
Uh-huh.
like, "What are you going to talk about?" I was like, "Honestly, I just want to find out if Homeboy still got the pen and paper." I remember church camp,
Oh
Homeboy's on
yeah.
the bus just writing rhymes.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
"Just
dude.
gotta find out if he's still
I
doing that."
remember that too. Oh yeah, dude. I remember those days in the back of yep, in the back of the bus. Yep.
That was awesome.
Still writing rhymes, still got tons of those papers laying around and stuff right now. And I still will write. So like mostly like the creation process. There's a lot of time like I'll go in there and I will like I'll say stuff and it like sometimes it doesn't make sense. It doesn't even like has some sort of a meaning to it. I'm more like kind of capturing flows and then like a vibe. And then I'll go back and listen to it over and over again. And then I'll put in my I'll write in my lyrics and be like, okay, this sounds sick here, this sounds sick there, and then kind of like craft it around.
Nice.
But
So,
that's been the process lately, yeah.
so you're just putting out all your own stuff. Like you're doing all the editing, all that, putting it all out. You don't have like anyone like producer
Yeah.
or anything like that. You're just rocking it solo.
No, so I'm not producing all my own music. I have my boy like Alcatraz that like produces most of my beats and stuff. So I'm mostly just mixing and mastering and then recording the vocals and then like either reaching out to different producers for like the beats and stuff. So I'm doing like 50% of it, you know, because the instruments and the instrumentation goes a long way, you know. If that's not there and that doesn't, you know, that brings such a big feeling to the music
For
itself.
sure. For sure.
But
Beats are
I'm doing all the mixing and mastering and stuff and making it sound like how I want it to. I still got a lot of growth, but I feel like I've gotten to a point where I can start releasing stuff with what I can do, you know?
That's cool. That's cool. So what's the goal? What's the ultimate goal? What's the next step for Syspence?
Yeah, the goal is just to build a big enough fan base and a dedicated fan base so I can do what I love and like turn it into like my passion into my paycheck. Um, it's not about like the money necessarily, but I would like to like live off of that and fully like invest everything I have into that. Um, so yeah, that's like the goal is to just be touring, you know, spreading the message of just like I'm still like finding exactly what I want my like exact message to be, but kind of more just like displaying just telling my story through my music and then just having people grow through that and the struggles that I go through and stuff like that. And then having people hear that and if they can relate, hopefully it can like help them out
For
in a
sure.
way.
Yeah. Do
But
you,
yeah,
do you ever listen to your own stuff? Like, do you bump your own stuff?
no, yeah, for sure.
Nice.
And honestly, like I bump all my new shit. Like I have like so much new shit that I'm just like I'll be bumping it for sure.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
Did
Sometimes
you
I'll be
ever-
riding around on my stuff a little bit too much, you know. It's like, but it's nice too, because then if you're listening to a whole bunch of other people's stuff, then you start catching yourself like doing the same exact thing as somebody else, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever seen Donald Glover stand up?
No, I haven't. No, maybe I have. Maybe I've seen like pieces of it, but I'm not like too
Uh,
familiar.
he does like a whole bit on like he picks up some chick and he's listening to his own music in the car and she like immediately starts judging him like you listen to your own music. And I never thought about that like I never thought about like artists actually listening to their own stuff because like even when like if you watch these artists
Mm-hmm.
like on IG live and all that stuff like you see
Mm-hmm.
them listening to like other people like you don't see them bumping
Yeah,
their own stuff but like I
yeah,
feel like if I'm
100%.
putting the work in like I'm driving down the street blaring my stuff. Like my windows are down, I'm bumping it. Like everyone's gonna hear
100%.
it. Free advertisement.
Free advertising straight up. Yeah, and like and normally I wouldn't be bumping myself all the time, but since I make new music, I'm just bumping the new stuff, you know. So it's like just recorded like something like 2 days ago that is like a new one that I'm like really fucking with. So I've just been bumping that. It's like the
Yeah,
new vibe, you know. So we've just been bumping at the river. So that's kind of the access to being able to like record and make stuff makes it that. But then it's dope when you get other homies on tracks too. So it's not just bumping your stuff; it's bumping like this thing you created.
yeah.
It
Did,
means something too.
oh, for sure. So talk because there's a lot of people that listen that don't understand how difficult social media is. Like when I
Oh
first
yeah.
started this, it was like you put a track out, you put the links out on your Facebook page and your Instagram page and whatever,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you get like
Mhm.
20 listens or whatever, but then you start like promoting it and you start putting it on like
Mhm.
your stories and like constantly posting about it and like
Mhm.
posts just start increasing. But dude, that's so much work to like go through and post
Oh
all
yeah.
stuff. Like I see you and you're like constantly putting stuff out there and like it's awesome because like even me, like I'll see it and I'll be like, oh crap, quarantine came out, like I gotta go listen to it, and
Oh yeah.
I like miss it, and then I see another post, I was like, oh crap, there it is again. And it's like it's a
Heck yeah.
constant reminder. It works, but like talk about how hard it is to like just constantly have to like
Yeah.
promote through social media.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think the biggest thing is just like it's just constantly just like, and I'm not even like doing as much as I would like to be doing. So I appreciate you even saying that you like see them posting a little bit more frequently. But I wish I was even on it more. But it's all about content, you know, just like as much content as you can like make and put out there. But Yeah, dude, it's hard. It's hard, like just to stay on it and just like it almost becomes like a job. Like, oh, you gotta post, gotta keep
Sure.
the people intact. You probably know how it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, there's been multiple times where I've seriously contemplated like paying someone to do it. Like
seriously,
I'm like to the point where I'm like, bro, I got a job. I'm doing this podcast. I got kids. Like, I can't just be
hundred
pulling out my
percent,
phone every second and posting this stuff. Like you see all these like influencers and they're like constantly posting over and over and over. It's like, how do you have time to do that? I'd be so
hundred
sick.
percent. And that's where I'm at with like when you ask before like where do you want to get to with like with the music. It's like I want to get to a spot where I can be fully indulged in it. So it's like once I don't have like another job and this is my job, then I'm not even really worried about that. I'm doubled down on like the social media and stuff like that. So I'm like triple double down on focus on. But then I can also say right now I'm in quarantine, so I should be like double down on the focus too.
Oh,
But when the money's coming in good and you have like a machine behind you that you're working with and invest, you have like money that you're reflowing back into the business, you can do a lot with it.
for sure, for sure.
100%.
So I know we talked briefly about sports and obviously basketball is kind of the. I remember
Heck
jumping
yeah.
on your live and you asked me what's going on with the NBA. Um,
Heck
so
yeah.
how obviously probably not as big of a sports guy as me, but like not having sports on, like how weird is this for you?
Dude, I was getting back into the NBA pretty heavy like this year because I'm a Lakers boy, just watching Kobe growing up and stuff like that, and just being from Cali, and then having AD and LeBron and just that energy over there with Caruso too, and just I was just loving it, just
I like
loving
how you pointed
everything.
out Caruso. Nice.
I love Caruso. Caruso's my dog. I love Caruso. He's a
That's
little
awesome.
dirty dog, He just comes from left field. It's just like
Oh
what?
my
What
god.
happened?
I don't think his video of him dunking and LeBron just on the bench looking like can't even believe that he just got that hops.
Just
Dude,
like
I can
what?
watch that video over and over and over, dude. That's
Oh
the,
yeah.
the
They're
best.
like Air Caruso. Yeah,
So,
dude. I love it. But yeah, so I'm bummed, man, not being able to watch the NBA right now is a bummer. My roommate that I live with right now, he's a big sports fan, super big on the NBA. So we were just watching everything for the preseason. So we didn't even make it to playoffs, which I'm bummed about.
yeah, there's still a possibility. Probably not going to happen, but
Hmm.
it's definitely possible. I think right now baseball is probably the only sport that's going to happen for
Make it.
sports. Yeah, but um,
Um, what was your Lakers
no,
or who's your team? No, you're not at all. Who's
no,
your team?
I'm a Rockets fan.
Rocket fan? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And where does that stem from?
So actually, the funny thing is, growing up in LA, everyone's a Lakers fan. You're either a Lakers
Uh,
fan, or you're a Clippers fan. If you're a Clippers fan, you're dumb. And I actually, the funny thing was, I went. I can't tell you how many Laker games I went to. My dad worked for FedEx, so it was like,
Dang.
he'd go on routes and just come back with tickets. And you just got to go to a
Heck
Lakers
yeah.
game because some dude just gave him tickets. And
Heck yeah.
I loved Kobe. Like growing up, loved him. And I had the jersey. I had the Kobe ones before they even came out. I played travel
Back.
ball with an Adidas rep, and Kobe was Adidas back then. So I had the
Okay.
Kobe ones, the Kobe twos before they came out, dude. I was rocking those.
Let's go.
I don't know what it was, but there was like an initial click, and I fell in love with Tracy McGrady. Like
Okay.
absolutely fell in love with him. I don't know what it was. His style of gameplay was just so cool, and like I didn't like. I was never the guy that was like super hardcore on the court. Like I was very to myself, and
Mhm.
I dropped buckets, but I wasn't like in people's faces. Like it would get me
Mhm.
amped up, but I wasn't like
Yeah.
the die hard, just go get him bulldog kind of guy. And that was Kobe.
Yeah.
Just
Uh-huh.
didn't relate to him. And
Okay.
T-Mac was just like so cool and smooth, just like didn't even care. Like he just looked like he was so good he didn't even need to try. And I just fell
Absolutely.
in love with that style. And then of course Yao Ming coming over and like the international
Oh yeah.
presence just sparked from there. And then
Heck yeah.
James Harden and Russell Westbrook. That was super bummed, dude. I thought for sure that guard play was going to be nasty, but
Oh yeah.
see.
Dude, yeah. James Harden and Westbrook. That's a beautiful thing to watch. I love turning it on, seeing them play. Like it's
Oh, it's
amazing.
awesome. I absolutely love it. I love the I love how like similar but different their styles are. Like they're both like obviously ball hogs, but they're both like
Mm,
get to the bucket, get to the foul line, and they just like,
absolutely.
they're guards, but they'll body up with everybody. They might flop here and there, but they'll body up and just drive the lane and
Oh
slam
yeah.
on you.
Oh yeah. And especially Westbrook. He's so athletic. It's insane.
It's gnarly, and that's the thing. Like I don't know why, but like LeBron's whole career, like his initial career, like I loved watching LeBron, and then when he went
Mm,
to Miami, it was just like I felt like he wasn't earning anything, so I stopped like
mm,
appreciating his game. But like
okay.
this year, watching him play with AD and like he has something to prove, it was like
Oh yeah.
back to the LeBron of like the Cleveland days. So it was
Oh
pretty.
yeah.
I'm really bummed that this season. There was actually an article that uh, if Anthony Davis was ever to be rubbed the wrong way, they could have basically pulled this whole thing off to get AD in LA, but he goes somewhere else and you don't even get a full season.
100%.
It'd be
Yeah.
weak.
That would be super weak. I feel like that was the spark too. Him getting just AD on the team and just like someone else that he feel like he can like take a man down. Oh yeah, just drop it.
Also didn't want
So
to be.
he didn't want to be there anyway. So because he felt like he could almost like take the W this year, you know. So that's what I gave him the spark, you know.
Well, that
It's
was like
like
when he was with Boogie, and when Boogie went to New Orleans, he was like, he finally had a supporting cast, and they actually made a run until Boogie got hurt. I think he's like
Boogie. Who's Boogie again?
Marcus Cousins.
The Marcus Cousin. Okay, yeah.
When
And he got hurt. What did he got?
he
He
tore his ACL like
tore his
before
ACL.
the All-Star break, and they
And
were
then
like
he
on a
trade,
run, like they were making playoffs and everything. They still ended up making the
yeah.
playoffs, but obviously down a man didn't really go
He
far.
tore his ACL, and then they kept him on the Lakers, and then they just traded him.
Well, that was when he was with New Orleans. So then they sent him to Golden State, and then the Lakers
Okay,
picked him up this year. But they cut him. I don't even think they traded him. I think they just cut him
just got him.
because he hasn't
He's
even
out
been
now.
playing.
He's
They
out the
like
game.
that when you get hurt. It's kind of hard to.
I know, and that's what back to people getting hurt. It's like I'm surprised Russell Westbrook doesn't have many injuries or more injuries.
Yeah,
You know?
I think like those guys, everyone watches Tom Brady and learns all the flexibility stuff and how to prolong your career. Like you watch those guys workouts, it's not like back when we were kids watching dudes pump iron and work out. These dudes are doing no good. Stretching,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
ridiculous. They're
It's different.
It's crazy. It's like honestly, if you ever like get bored and just look up Tom Brady's workout regimen, dude, it's literally the dumbest thing you'll read, and it's literally
That's crazy.
stretching, making sure he's flexible. He's not even doing weights. He just does
So he's
like
not like tearing anything or like
it's
making sure he's limber.
yeah,
Dang.
it's really crazy. The best part about I love how you brought up Caruso. Like I still can't get off that. I love Laker fans that like Caruso comes out of their mind because there's so many guys on that team that are good, and then there's Caruso, and people still only talk about Caruso. Like, do you remember Brian Scalabrine?
I don't. I don't think. No, I don't.
He's this redhead, overweight power forward guy that played for the Celtics. They called him the Red Mamba or the White Mamba.
Okay.
He like barely played, but he always like made clutch shots in the playoffs. And so like if you ever talk to a Boston Celtics fan, they're like they'll give their top 5 Celtics players, and Brian Scalabrine's like in their top 5.
That's insane.
It's just
that's
awesome.
like
I love
that's
how
like the
put Caruso up there.
Yeah, because when you see Caruso come out and just make a play, the crowd just goes insane. I go insane too. And then now he has the new headband. Caruso, he's been wearing the headband. He's all doing this.
A young basketball player with a cul-de-sac haircut is literally like the greatest thing on the face of the planet.
And like I watched something on YouTube about like his story, and he has like a pretty like decent story of like he like was grinding like his way up, and like nobody was looking at him. And he just like came out of nowhere. I forget what college he came from, like Texas A&M. I don't know.
I believe it was a Texas school. Yeah, I didn't actually look that up because that's.
But yeah, I was like, he had like a sick story, and yeah, I rock with him. I rock with like the underdogs too, like the ones that are just like not like crazy. A lot of people talk about him actually. He's getting a lot more shine this year.
Oh yeah, well yeah, he's on LeBron's Lakers, of course he is.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Texas A&M.
It's crazy how much these people's paychecks probably go up. Like once you are like on a team with LeBron and you make just some plays, like even just Caruso, like he's probably got more endorsements just because of that. Like, you
Oh,
know?
not just that. What a lot of people don't realize is like a lot of these guys' contracts are incentive based. So like a guy like Caruso coming off the bench, minutes, he gets bonused
Mm-hmm.
off how many minutes he plays. He'll get bonused
Dang.
off his points per game, his assists per game.
Dang.
Play with a guy like LeBron, you
Mm-hmm.
kick him the rock and he's scoring at 60% of the time. Your assists are going up, your points are going up because now he's getting double
100%.
open.
That's true. I never even thought that. I heard Dwight Howard is on like a commission with the Lakers or something like that.
Yeah, like a lot of veterans that have been like from team to team, they sign them to like what are called prove it deals. And it's basically like a 1-year deal. You get like a guaranteed salary of like a couple million, but you can earn up to like 8, and that's all incentive based. So like if we make the playoffs, you get this. If we win a championship, you get this. So that's why you see like a lot of those 1-year veterans join guys like LeBron because they feel like, hey, we can win a ring with this guy.
100%.
Just put incentives in my contract. You don't have to give me anything guaranteed. Let's go win a championship.
Straight up. And then that makes and did they set that up, like incentive stuff, to make them hungrier to like win championships?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's guys that they probably do it to like a signing incentive. Like if a guy like LeBron wants to sign with like Kawhi Leonard, perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi Leonard, everyone wanted him. The Clippers come in with a contract that is very similar to what everyone else was offering, but they can throw in more incentives to get him to sign with them versus another team. So like a team like the Raptors throw him, $30 million a year, but that's what you get. You're guaranteed $30 million a year. Let's go win a championship. But the Clippers will throw him, 29.5, but we'll, bonus you $5 million if you win us a ring.
Yeah, straight up.
So
yeah, that's nice. What do you think about Kawhi going to the Clippers?
I loved it. I love it. And what's so funny is
We cut out.
Can you hear me?
We cut out. I don't know if it's mine.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Kayla and I were watching Stranger Things, and
okay,
I got the news on my phone because I follow a bunch of guys to try to get things quickly, and the news broke, and it wasn't even official. It was Kawhi picks a team, tune on ESPN or whatever. In 5 minutes, I'm breaking the news.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I turn off Stranger Things, turn it on ESPN, and Kayla's like, "What are you doing?" And Kayla's a Clippers fan. So I was like, you're going to want to see this. So I turned on ESPN. As soon as I turn it on, someone else tweets out, Kawhi or Paul George has been traded to the Clippers.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, what is going on? And then I watched it, and that was what happened. Kawhi knew he could win there, but he wanted help. And he basically told the Clippers, like, hey, I'm only coming here if you get me someone. And so they made the call to Oklahoma City, got Paul George, and called him back. We're like, hey, how's Paul George sound? He's like, done. I'm coming.
Let's go. And he made it like last minute. He left like a whole bunch of people on hold, huh?
Oh yeah.
Like ton of people.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I know he had. So like there was the Raptors were still in talks with him. The Lakers were in talks with him. There was the Spurs were even talking about possibly bringing him back. The Knicks wanted him. The Nets wanted him. I mean, there were so many teams, and I just remember jumping up and down in my living room, freaking out. And Kayla's like, what are you doing? It's not even your team. I was like, people don't understand how even the NBA is now. You stop taking away these super teams and you start making these duos. Now these
100%.
duos have to build talent around them. You're not having the Heat make the championship every single game or year, or the Warriors make the championship every year.
100%.
You got these duos going, and you got Kyrie and KD in Brooklyn. You got Harden and Westbrook in Houston. You got
the duos.
LeBron. They're all duos. And then you got pieces that go around those duos, and that's how you win a championship. It's way more level than just, it's the Warriors and whoever make it out of the East.
I never even thought about it like that. And when like the first triples was like in Boston, wasn't it? When it all like started coming about, was like That was like the big three. Like the Lakers kind of did it, like Kobe, Shaq, and then bringing on like when they brought Horace Grant in. Yeah, he was older, but bringing in guys like that was like still a big name. That was kind of the like initial start of it. But yeah, the Celtics were like, because they had Paul Pierce,
and they brought KG from Minnesota, and they brought Ray
Hey,
Allen from Milwaukee. And that was
that's
like,
beast.
let's go. Or Seattle. I think Ray Allen was Seattle at that point. But
Okay.
build that three, and then from there, since then, I mean, you've had LeBron's Heat, you've had the Warriors' big three, and the Warriors' big three was kind of different because they drafted all those guys. They just
theirs was dope. Theirs was dope.
But then they brought in KD, and then it was like, all right, this is dope.
It was like, all right, yeah, 100%. Because like, what was, what's his name? Why did I just space his name? We had Curry, KD, and then why did I space his name?
Klay Thompson.
Yeah, Klay Thompson. He was like a 14th pick in the draft, or like 7th or something.
Yeah, all those guys, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay, they're all first round picks.
Dang.
It was just the Warriors. They just stocked draft picks because they went through like a whole tanking period, and they ended up hitting with their draft picks. But yeah, I'm glad that it's duos now, because you're not going to see. First of all, you're going to see a lot more star players get paid more, which means they're probably going to stay with the teams that they're at. Like a lot of these trios, now LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh all want to make more money. Well, you can't do that on the same payroll. So you can either keep taking pay cuts and win rings, or go make money somewhere else.
That's true.
So now with duos, you can still get paid more, and just, you bring on vet guys, or you draft young talent and build around it, and you just hope for the best. I mean, same with the NFL. Like NFL guys, look at all these teams that pay big money for quarterbacks. You don't win championships doing that. Chiefs just won the Super Bowl, but Patrick Mahomes is still on his rookie deal.
Did he?
Yeah. He's still Patrick Mahomes probably won't get an extension until next year.
Dang.
So it's you can't spend money and win rings.
100%. And they only have a certain amount of money, so it's like you can't put all your eggs in one basket,
Yeah. Yeah, they can, they have a salary cap, and you can go over the salary cap, but you get fined, and that's coming out of the owner's pocket. So if you go over that salary cap, you better win a championship and make some revenue.
100%. Get it back in the pocket, 100%. I know the duos is definitely probably what made even like this year and the last couple of years like some good NBA games to watch,
Oh yeah, dude, my nerdy side actually kicked in. Like, I want NBA Jam back. Now that you are like every team is a duo, like I want NBA Jam back.
100%. What do you think they're going to be? Do you think they're going to do anything, or would you want them to do anything? Because I heard them talking about like doing like at-home horse games and stuff like that with like players.
They did that. Did you watch that?
Did they do it?
Oh,
I didn't watch it.
It was so brutal.
Was it bad?
Dude, so bad. It was they did Skyping, and each player was at their house. They played a game of horse against each other, but they didn't there was a couple NBA players in there, but they did NBA players, WNBA players, and like legends. So like Paul Pierce did it, Zach LaVine did it, Chris Paul did it. And then they had some Tamika Catchings did it. But I don't know. It was just like, it was really sad though, because like Mike Conley, the point guard for the Grizzlies, he was in it. He has a full-on indoor basketball court at his house, like professional hardwood and everything. And he was playing against like a WNBA player that had like a fold-up hoop in her driveway. It was so bad. I felt so bad. I was like, that's the difference right there. A fold-up hoop.
I know.
It's like exactly what I had at my house.
100%. That's insane.
But it was bad. It was like I had to look at like, oh, where's your hoop at? All right, stand there and do left foot, one-handed. It was just, I don't know. ESPN.
Oh, my gosh.
Stretch. It was brutal to watch. I watched all of it because I need sports.
Okay.
But it was
100%. That's why I didn't watch it, but I heard about it, and I was talking to my buddy. I was like, would you watch that? And I was like, I probably would, just to like watch some players, But I didn't know if they actually did it or not.
It was absolutely brutal. They are doing so. They're this Sunday. They're dropping. Have you heard about the Michael Jordan 30 for 30, like his biography with the Bulls?
No.
So he paid a camera crew to follow him through his last stint with the Bulls. So they have like years of footage of him like in locker rooms, after games, airplanes with the team and stuff. And ESPN actually got all that footage, and they're making like a 13 episode special.
That's fire. That's going to be super fire.
they're dropping it Sunday night, and like it's completely unedited. Like you're gonna hear MJ dropping F-bombs and like all
For
this.
real, for real. So they're dropping it this Sunday
This Sunday, it's gonna be dropped on ESPN.
on ESPN.
Yep, and it's a 13 episodes, so they'll probably like drop an episode like every week.
That's insane. So it'll be 30 for 30.
Yeah, so I want to say it's ESPN at like 9 o'clock. I think this Sunday.
That's fire. I'm for sure watching that.
Oh,
That's
dude,
gonna be way fire.
there's already quotes coming out, and apparently Dominique Wilkins, when MJ played the Hawks, Dominique was like, MJ just came into our locker room, and we had no idea why he was in our locker room. The game didn't even start yet. He goes up to the guy that's guarding him and like slaps him on the knee and was like, lace him up. You're gonna have a long effing night. And then Dominique's like,
awesome.
And that dude dropped 60 on us that night.
That's insane. I know. I can't imagine. That's smart thinking, you know, to get a camera crew to follow you.
Oh,
He probably sold that for some money.
Oh, of course, it's MJ. He's got to. And actually, the best part is he's talking like right now. He's talking about how it's probably going to make him look like a bad person because of how much of a dick he is.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But at this point, like I want to see that. Like I want to see how you are away from cameras, off the court. I want to see that. Like,
and I think 2020.
Song.
I think 2020 we're ready for that because it's like that era of just like real raw kind of just stuff. Yeah.
Especially quarantine time, bro. It's like we'll take anything.
Straight up.
No, it's nuts.
Straight up quarantine time. It's a crazy world out there right now, huh?
So talk to me about downtime. What's Syspence doing in downtime during quarantine?
So before I was in Dana Point, because I live out in Dana Point, we were just chilling. I had a studio out there too, so just kind of making music, playing a little video games here and there, working out as much as I could. I broke my collarbone actually like 4 months ago or 5 months ago when I was snowboarding up in Mammoth. So I was out the gym for a little bit, so slowly kind of just getting back into it, doing some like rehab and stuff like that. But we got tired over there in Dana Point, just being stuck up at this tiny house. And then my buddy has a river house, so then we jetted out over here. And we've been out. We were only planning to be out here for like 4 or 5 days, actually. We're like, we'll just feel it out or whatever. And the next thing you know, I think it's been like 19 or 20 days, bro. We've just been out here.
That's awesome.
And then 2 days ago, we just got we have jet skis, so we just got the jet skis in the water. And then we have like a dock right out here. So now it's like, well, we're probably going to be here for another like 2 weeks now, like, for sure. until I get my job back, you know, I'm just chilling right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you said gaming, what's the game genre of choice?
So I'm not a big gamer, to be honest. Like, cause I've never like owned a console really, but like I've just played with like friends when they play and stuff. So right now we're playing, what do we have over here? We're just playing like Halo 3, original Halo, NBA 2K 13. That's the only one we have.
Yeah, nice.
Just like way back. But mostly just playing like some Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and then just playing like zombies on it.
Nice. That's a classic.
It's like classic, but don't play like too much of it, but like switch up the time, switch up the things to do.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. You got to find something to do.
What about you? You're a gamer, right?
Yeah, I game. My cousin that produces the show, he does Twitch streams, so I'll jump on his Twitch, and we'll play games. We're doing Apex is a big one right now.
Okay.
The new Call of Duty Warzone's a big one.
Are those fire?
Yeah, they're good, dude. Stressful, man. Like it is. Like you want to talk about,
really?
Dude. I've never playing sports my entire life, and like playing at a competitive level. Like you get adrenaline rushes, but I have never like when you're playing a squad of threes and both your teammates die and it's just you and everyone's watching you.
Your hands are just sweating. You're just like,
dude, I'm like shaking. I'm like, oh, dude.
Oh my god.
And it's so funny because like sometimes I'll click a button that I don't mean to, and everyone's watching me. So I'm like shooting into my guy like punches, and they're like, "What was that?" I was like, "Sorry."
You're like, oh my god.
I'm anxious right now.
That's hilarious.
So
That's
I'm
hilarious.
not as good as those guys, but I'm getting there.
Heck yeah. And you do all like online and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Live
like in my entire life, I've always played sports games. Like that was like my thing. Shocker.
Yeah.
Sports podcast, play sports games.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
But, like, my entire life, that's all I played. And I like picked up Call of Duty when I was in high school. Actually, my sophomore year when I was playing basketball for my high school, one of my buddies I was playing basketball with was talking about the new Call of Duty. It was like the first Modern Warfare. I
Uh-huh.
was like, dude, I've never even gotten into those games. I can't play online with people. They're so much better than me. He's like, bro,
Mhm.
just play the story, and then once you're done with the story, then jump online and see if you like it. I literally left practice that day at like 8 o'clock, drove to a
Uh-huh.
GameStop, bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare, played
Yeah.
the entire story that night. I was like, oh, dude, this is
That's
dope.
insane.
Jumped into an online game, played all night, and I had to go to school the next day. I like walk in, my first class was with him, and he's like, bro, you.
Yes, sir.
I was like, dude, I've been playing Call of Duty all night. That was the
That's
first time I
insane.
ever played a shooter, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of dope. But like
That's
right now,
legit.
aside from like jumping on my cousin's Twitch, like MLB
Mhm.
Show, I've been playing that game. Like, I need baseball in my life, man. That was
Heck
my
yeah.
first love, and not having baseball, bro, I'm like, I will legit just let the computer play each other and just watch it.
And just watch it. That's
I need
insane.
baseball, dude. I need it.
I need. So is that your favorite sport to watch then?
I would say favorite sport to watch would probably be football, like all around. But like live
Okay.
sport, I would go if you gave me tickets to a AAA baseball game or an NFL football game, I'd go to the AAA baseball game.
Dang, no way.
I love live baseball. Like there's nothing like it. It's like
Heck
a lot
yeah.
of people don't like it because it's like slow and boring. But like if you know what you're watching, it is so entertaining.
Heck yeah. Are
Hockey
you so you're
hockey's
Angels?
up there, though.
Angels, right?
Oh yeah. You know?
Heck yeah. I was just saying, I see the hat and I see the poster.
Yep. Yep.
That's I'm an
Yeah,
Angels
Trout's my
too.
boy.
Trout. He doesn't he have like he's getting paid. He's the highest paid
Oh, bro, he got
athlete.
dude, like close to billions. Like that dude's so rich, it's stupid.
It's just insane.
He's
He's just
the
buying
he's
like
the one
trucks and
dude
stuff.
I'd let my wife sleep with.
He's the one dude.
One dude, I wouldn't
That's
even I
awesome.
wouldn't even second guess. I'd be like, yep. All right, cool.
Go for it.
Yep.
That's
I wouldn't even
awesome.
ask for his signature. I'd just be like, yep. All right,
Go for it.
done.
That's awesome. So you seen him? You seen him play live? If he
Oh
came
yeah.
down to it? Okay,
Yeah.
heck yeah.
Because we moved to San Diego in like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
We actually had season passes to Disneyland, so we would like go up for the Angel game and then just stay the night and go to Disneyland the next day.
Heck yeah.
I was
That's
actually at Angel Stadium when Mike Trout hit his first cycle,
Oh heck yeah.
and I
It was
was
probably
literally,
crazy, huh?
I was literally like 4 rows away from his home run ball that completed his cycle.
That's insane.
It's nuts. The dude is just absolutely insane. Kayla and I actually went to. He was in the MLB for like a week, and then
Mhm.
it was right before we moved down there. And me,
Mhm.
Kayla, and my buddy, we were talking about moving down there. So we're like, let's go check out apartments. So we drove down there, and I was
Mhm.
like, hey, you guys want to go to a baseball game? And both of them were like, I've never been to a baseball game. I was like,
You're like,
we're going.
let's go.
So we went,
Uh,
and I knew they called Mike Trout up, but I didn't know that he was actually playing because usually once they call him up, they'll like do a week at AAA, do a week in the big leagues, or if they're good enough, they just stay up. And Mike Trout was
yeah.
that good. And I just remember going to the game and they announced Mike Trout was playing. I was like, oh snap, this kid's gonna be good. Like everything I've been reading, this kid's a
100%.
stud. And literally his first at bat, he jacks a home run. And
And
Kayla's
you're
like,
like,
I
let's
really
go.
like him. I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna be really good.
That's insane.
I'm
And
so
then
happy.
did he play? Did he play for anybody besides the Angels?
Nope.
Just straight to the Angels.
Drafted by the Angels, played for the Angels, and then the Angels offered him a contract he couldn't refuse.
Dang. And how long was it for?
I want to say it was like 10 years.
That's what I said. I remember her in 10 years.
10 or 12 years. I can't remember. I always get his contract and John Gruden's mixed up because they're both massive contracts.
And that's insane.
Yeah. That was nuts.
10-year lock-in.
Baseball's kind of known for that. That's like what baseball does. But yeah, dude.
Because they play till they're like 35, some 40s.
Sometimes they'll play into their 40s. Just depends on the type of player that they are. Like if they can hit the ball out of the park, they'll play till they're 40. Yeah, so Trout's was 12 years, 430 million.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? What would Syspence do with that kind of money?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I would just like, my whole family would be good. Everyone around me would be good. Just, oh my gosh. You could feed so many people with $430 million.
Right?
I feel like I'm doing pretty well off of my boss's salary. You know what I'm saying? It's like 430 million. Oh my gosh.
That's like someone asked me, they're like, what would you do with Trout's money? I was like, I don't even want to think about that. That's so stressful. Knowing that you
Straight up.
have that amount of money, like I don't want it anymore. That's so much.
Oh yeah. And how many people are just gonna be like coming around you and
Oh,
stuff? Oh my god.
100%. Like kids that you barely knew in high school. Oh, bro, remember we were best friends in high school?
100%.
No. That's
Yeah.
the one thing I hated about my name. Because like everyone in high school knew my name and they would just like claim that they knew me. So like my sister was younger than me and she'd like go into class with like someone I went to high school with, like, younger sibling. And they're like, oh, my brother was best friends with Jason Cason. And my
And
sister
you're
was
like,
like, oh, really? What's your brother's name? And then she'd come home and be like, hey, do you know so-and-so? I'd be like, no, never talked to that guy in my life.
nah, that's funny. Your name is pretty catchy, you know. It's
You
hard.
know, I should
It's
be a
not that.
rapper. I think
Just straight it.
I found
You
the right
got it. You
one.
already got it. You already started. You can just ding.
Just say my
I
name.
remember you were right. You were writing some raps back in the day, or helping me with
Oh, I was
some.
just trying to help, trying to spark some light in your beautiful eyes. That's all it was.
Heck yeah, man.
Dude,
And
my
we were
raps were
balling too.
garbage.
You were spitting something. I remember. A good time.
Flattered, but the fact that I can't remember the rhymes tell me that they weren't that memorable.
I just remember back there. I don't even. I think I still even have that notebook. I had like this tiny little notebook that I like
Yep.
brought out there, or it could have been like the notebooks that they gave us.
Yeah, it was like the little notebooks that they gave,
Yeah,
like the orientation part.
yeah, that's 100% what it was.
Oh, that's fine.
That's crazy. And
I remember Adam Casper came back and he's like, I hear you know a lot about sports. I was like, yeah. He's like, what's one thing that you know that that probably no one else knows? I was like, if you tell me the basketball team, I can tell you their entire starting lineup. And he's like, what? And he gave me a notepad. I remember writing all 30 teams and their starting lineups. And he was
that's
just like,
insane.
bro, that's so much.
That's insane. I know. I always remember that too. You were like on point with all that, and we even like were balling up. But we had like a little tournament that we always had on that camp. Remember?
Yeah,
That's
we had
like the indoor
the
court there.
counselors versus the students or whatever. I think we got our butts kicked that year.
Dude, I remember I was just garbage, and I always go hard on the court though.
Dude, I remember Mikey C. Dude, that was the one guy.
Oh yeah.
You feel like that guy should be so good at basketball, and you saw his jump shot, and you were like, oh.
You're just like, oh, that's insane. That is so classic.
Actually, I played ball at when he because now he's a police officer in Pocatello. He came up here for his like academy training, and I was playing pickup games, and he came and played pickup games with us. You can ball now. I was like, bro, where'd you
really?
learn that? You actually have a jump shot now.
Heck yeah.
Dude, he was dropping like 15 a
Heck
game.
yeah. Heck yeah. Oh yeah, that's what we've been doing. You've been asking what I've been doing since I've been on quarantine. We copped a little basketball hoop and we put it out back, like just a cheap one from Walmart, but got some balls and been throwing up the shots, getting that jump shot down.
Yeah, we just moved into our house and I don't have my backyard done yet. I'm itching to get a hoop back there.
100%. I've never had like even like when I was a kid, but I don't have enough room at our pad. But down here, we've just been down here for so long, so it's like might as well just get a hoop for this place.
Shots up.
Straight up.
That's
Walmart
the one
hoop.
thing I miss about that weather. Here in Idaho, you can't ball outside year round. You got to find an indoor court. And
I know it's still cold right now, huh?
It's like 50s, 60s right now.
Oh, it's 50s.
Yeah.
It was 80. It was 87 out here today.
Yeah, you can blow me.
But I'm in Arizona right now, and like Cali has been like 70 or something like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's dope. All right, so let's talk about music. Anything new you're dropping?
Dude, yeah, I'm dropping a song. My plan is to drop a song every other week until it pops off, or I'm just until the day I die. Just keep it flowing, just keep the consistency. That's like the easiest way to like set up a schedule and just keep myself online, or like keep myself in line, just keep it going. So I don't know what song I'm gonna drop next week, to be honest, but I have like 30 that I'm just sitting on. So I just kind of like go off the vibe, or if I create something new that's why last week it was quarantine, because it was just like I was gonna drop a different one, but then I created that one and it was kind of like straight in the vibe, so like might as well just drop it. So
So
I'm not too sure yet.
all the songs you've dropped so far, what's your favorite?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably say I don't know. I don't even know if I have a favorite. I don't know. They're all like different. Like I'd probably say the favorite would be like the one that like means the most to me, and I'm trying to think what it would be. I'd say probably like I like So High. I like So High. Just has like a good little flow to it. It's got like good rhythm. I'd say probably like my favorite, or like Coast. Coast is,
By far that's my favorite.
yeah,
You're gonna have a hard time topping that one in my book. I love that.
yeah. I like the Coast, and I even like just pushed a lot off of that too. I made an album around it or an EP off of it. Hoodies right there, that's why I was like straight up. I was even gonna like do a whole clothing brand called like Coast and stuff like that, but I have some other stuff in the works that we're like me and my buddies are cooking up right now. But yeah, maybe Coast, maybe Coast. That's the one I believed in the most too, so I was like pushing that one heavy for a while.
For sure. What? So weren't you on like Barstool?
Yeah, I was on Barstool Sports for what happened. So I was shooting a music video for a song called No Distractions that I have.
Yeah.
And we were just down at the beach at T Street, and so like some random kid was just filming me shooting a music video because I was like, my buddy was just like shooting me with his camera or whatever. And then I think he sent it to Kook of the Day. Have you heard of Kook of the Day?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he sent it to Kook of the Day, and then Kook of the Day has somebody that like does like voice dubbing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then somebody put a voice dub over like me rapping, and then they like and they were just saying the random stuff. You remember it was, I don't even know what they were saying, like I got sandy cheeks or like,
yeah, all I remember
like,
is like you on a beach with like a longboard or something just rapping, and oh dude,
yeah, and they're like
longboard.
Yeah, bro. And so like pretty much, yeah, they were like, it was more them just like shitting on me. And then they uploaded it, and then they tagged me in it, and they have like 2 million followers, and then my page just started going off. And then I was like, I had a project done. Like I had the video done, I had the Coast video done, and the project done. And I woke up the next morning, and my profile had like 25,000 visits on it. And I was like, let's go. I'm dropping this project today. I was like, I dropped it that day. I dropped the music video that day. I just like released everything off of it.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, let's go.
Hey,
so it was that
bad publicity is good publicity.
Oh, I ran with it. I had so many people. I was like, everyone tag me in this. Go tag me. Tell them that. But once Kook of the Day posted, Barstool Sports posted, and like all these other random ones. Because after Barstool posted, you get all these like ones that have 50,000 followers and stuff posting it, and then it just.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, dude, that was funny.
Oh, that was so. I remember seeing it on my phone, and I actually like Barstool Sports like put it on their story because I was like looking through their stuff, and I was like, bro, that's Spencer. Like, there's nobody that's not Spencer. And then I went to your account and saw that you posted. I was like, that's Spencer. I knew it was Spencer. So then I showed Kayla, and she's like, what is that? Oh, so funny.
I had so many people hit me up for that, and I even had like so many people that didn't even know like what was going on, and they thought like I was getting promoted by Barstool Sports. Like I had people hit me up like, dude, you made it. You're on Barstool Sports. I'm like, no, bro. Like people were shitting on me, but I'm gonna flip it into something. Bet your ass, I'm gonna turn it into some like clout or something.
That's
but like,
awesome.
It was so funny.
That's so good. That's so good. Oh,
straight up, like the biggest one, like the biggest account, pretty much. Like for that type shit.
So what's your most listened platform? Like, do you get more listeners off Spotify or SoundCloud?
I'd say it's Spotify now, but I do have like a little good base on SoundCloud. YouTube's pretty decent too. I have a decent like fan base in Argentina. Like actually, like most of my plays are from Argentina actually.
Nice.
Like across all platforms. And I'd say like a lot of my dedicated fans that like hit me up all the time are like kids in Argentina. So if any kids from Argentina are listening to this right now, hey, we love you straight up. So I'd say Spotify, SoundCloud, and then YouTube because of the Argentina guys. Everyone out in Argentina, they like listen to YouTube like heavy.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad I'm on YouTube now, because like before I had this office/studio, I was recording in my bedroom, or like sometimes I'd even do like episodes in my car, like on my lunch break.
Yeah.
And like
anywhere you can't
do a visual when you're in a car, like that's so lame.
So
Yeah, you
glad I
can, but it's
figured
just
out.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's dumb.
You
So
feel more confident like putting this out, yeah.
oh yeah, I mean when I got Trout behind me, bro, the $430 man, like I can do whatever I want.
I can do whatever I want. 100%. 100%.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
What
Argentina,
platform?
that's
What?
not.
Yeah, Argentina. And so where that actually stems from is there's like a YouTuber out there that has like, I don't know, I think he has like 700,000 subscribers or something like that. And he's like just an Argentinian YouTuber, and he makes like car videos and stuff like that. And he randomly just tagged me one day using one of my songs in his videos. And I was like, oh, let's go. And then he just kept using them, and started using a whole bunch of songs. And all of his fans from Argentina just like started hitting me up and stuff like that. And that's what kind of like started it. And then they're like kind of spreading it a little bit, which is pretty dope.
That's awesome. Have you done any live shows?
Yeah, I did one like 4 months ago. Opened up for KRS-One, if you know KRS-One is.
Oh, yeah.
OG rapper. Yeah, opened up for KRS-One, and then I went on like a little like SoCal tour with this rapper down here called I Suppose. Did like 4 or 5 shows with him. But besides that, not too much. I did some stuff up in Idaho when I was up there. I was in like a little group before I moved back down to Cali. So I did some stuff up there, but not as much as I would like to, though.
How
Not as much as I'd
nerve-wracking
like to.
is it?
It's pretty nerve-wracking for sure, but it's the nerve-wracking is before more than anything. Once you're on stage, you just like you black out. At least for me, like I just like tap into the flow and just like
That's probably the vitamins you're taking that get
the
you.
straight up, straight up. But no, but seriously, you just black out once the raps start coming in. I really try to like lock into like the main thing I try to do when I'm on stage is like recreate like the feeling of when I wrote it and try to display that to the person. Like I want to tap into like when I say this lyric, I want to tap into that emotion of when I wrote it. So when I look that person in the eyes, like they can feel it. So it's like that's the main thing. So that's where you really just black out because you're more just focused on like showing people like, and that's more like kind of my like stage presence is like showing my like emotion and like my passion with the skill too.
That's dope.
Like, yeah.
I can dig that. I can dig that.
I
So
can dig it.
let's obviously you get a white guy rapping.
Yes, sir.
Do you get the Lil Dicky and the Eminem comparisons?
I don't really that much. I get like I'd say like people say like the Eminem or the Mac Miller. I haven't heard Lil Dicky too much or MGK, but yeah, I guess I do get the comparison. But then I guess I just like I don't feel like I even like sound like most of those people too. Like, but personally, so it's like some people don't even say that. They're like,
That's good.
I don't know. What would you say? What would you say?
Yeah, you got your own flow. I don't even know. Like I was even thinking about that earlier, like who I would compare you to. And I don't know. Have you seen? Speaking of Lil Dicky, have you seen his show Dave on FX?
Dude, I have not. I want to though.
Dude, I've been watching it like religiously. When it drops on Wednesday, I'm watching it Wednesday night. It got me back into his music.
Yeah.
And then obviously then you go down the internet rabbit hole of all his YouTube videos and like how he started and like all this stuff. Like everyone has their own like story, and like him especially, like coming up, always getting compared to like all the white rappers and like Lonely Island and all that stuff. Like it sucks. Like most of these guys that have their own brand of music get put in a box, and they don't even belong there. And like for you, dude, like you got like your own style. It's like I couldn't even tell you. I could tell you like it's a mix between like I would say like a mix between like I can't.
It's kind of hard, huh?
It is, dude. Like it's so like it's funny because like when I listen to your stuff, I'd be like, oh, like that sounds like this, or that sounds like this, or whatever. But it's never like the entire song. It's just like, oh, that part sounded like that, or like that part sounded like that. Like yeah, flow. It's dope.
Oh yeah, thank you. No, we'll talk about that sometimes. Like I'll ask like my homies or something. Like, can you tell me somebody that like remind me of? But then that we can't really like pinpoint it. But I would say like Young Pinch would be like a lot of people will say that just from like I don't know if have you heard Young Pinch?
I've heard some of the stuff.
just in like the melodic kind of trying to be like more melodic and stuff, and then putting some rap in there. I think he's just a big inspiration, so like, or person I listen to a lot. So maybe I just think that per se. But that's dope though. I like when people say that. That's fire. That's fire when people say, oh, when I can't find somebody, because I'm like, shit, that's how you create the little niche.
Yep. Yeah. No, I like at first I wouldn't say skeptical, because obviously I don't know the music industry. So like obviously knowing you since you were a kid and like finding out you were a rap dude. I remember the day I found out that you were rapping, Mike texted me. He's like, bro, have you been listening to Spencer? I was like, Spencer who? He's like, Spencer Stewart. I was like, no, bro. Like, what do you mean listening to him? I was like, is he a pastor now? Like, what am I listening to? He's like, bro, he's rapping. I was like, shut up. There's no way Spencer's rapping. And then I remember pulling your SoundCloud up. I was like, holy crap, dude, this kid's good. He's actually.
Hell yeah.
And I remember like at first, like your stuff kind of like sounded similar, like beat wise, but like you always like flowed differently on it. Like I felt like at first, like you were finding like similar beats and like the pace was the same, but you like flowed differently on it. And I was like, dude, that's kind of cool. Like you don't see that. Like you see guys that, if they want to flow faster, they find a faster beat. You want to flow slower, a slower beat. And like you just like you mix in with that really good.
100%. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I was sticking at like 90 or 130 BPM. That's like all I was rapping to. Like at that time, like I was jumping back and forth. But yeah, that's crazy to hear somebody say that, like where they found it out. Like Mike texted you and was like, yo, I haven't heard that too many times, so it's kind of like it's just funny,
Oh, dude, it's so I don't even remember what I was doing, but it was just like the most random thing, because I hadn't heard from Mike in a while, and that's like what he texted me, and it was at first I was like pissed off, and I was like, oh, hi to you too, dude. You haven't talked to me in like 2 months, and now you're talking about Spencer. Like, hey, how have you been? How's your day going? And then I found it. I was like, dude, this is dope. Like, this is awesome. I actually. Like I sat on a bus with this kid, and he was writing rhymes. How old were you at that camp?
Dude, I don't know, like 14.
Yeah, you had to be early teens.
14, maybe 15, or even could have been 13. Like freshman year.
Yeah.
Because I remember you were always like a couple years older than me, but I was always kicking with like you and Mike. Like that's what I was like rolling with.
Yeah,
like,
you're the cool kid, dude. We had to, me and Mike were just the older nerds. We had to kick it with the cool kids.
Hey, we were lit. We were lit in the back, dude. I'm with you guys. So many good times and memories. Oh, yeah. Straight up.
Yeah, that's cool. So before I let you go, what? So obviously you want to start putting stuff out every other week.
Yep.
Is Coast like the only album that you put out?
Yeah, Coast is the only project I've put out. It's like a little EP, 5-track. Before, so like what I kind of did is I just started making music and started just dropping stuff. And the first project I did was Coast. And then after that, I did a thing called like Season 1, where I was going to start dropping music I did it for like 5 weeks straight, where I dropped like a song every week for 5 weeks. And then I kind of made all the cover arts look the same. And then I did Season 2, which was like all these fruit cover arts where I did
that one,
cover. Yeah, so I like was trying to keep it like Season 1, Season 2, and have them all like in order. And then so it's kind of like an album at the end of the 5th week. Does that make sense? So you drop a song every week, and at the end of the 5th week, they all like coincide together. But now I've just like veered away from projects just so I can stay consistent and in people's faces. So I'm just like the every other week thing gives me like that opportunity to like just always be there instead of just dropping a project and then just promoting that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. So like, do you think that you get more listens and views like dropping singles, or do you think that you get it from like dropping EPs?
I think EPs have a hype around them, and I like EPs because they have like an aesthetic and a feel that you can put to them, and then you can package them in a way and promote them in a way that's almost like taken as like it's better work per se than just a single. Almost it's like gives you almost like more investment. People look at it as more of an investment, so per se. But then I feel like the attention span is so little that nowadays that when people are gonna play that, the most plays on the EP is gonna be like the first one or just that one song per se that people like.
Right.
And the first one, just because people click on the first one and their attention span is on something else. So with the singles, it lets them just the attention span thing go away, and then it allows them just to pick the song that they like, and then those will just rise with the numbers. They just like it, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's like the idea.
What? So, last thing, where can all the CasonPoint listeners and followers find you?
Where can they find me at Syspence on Instagram, and that's SYSPENCE with an underscore, and then just at Syspence everywhere else, just on Spotify, SoundCloud, all streaming platforms. SYSPENCE. You can just Google it; it comes up easy with the Y. You know, that's why I threw the Y in there.
That's awesome. Any website in the future?
I got the website out too, so yeah, you can just go to Syspence.com. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Syspence.com, I'll have all the stuff there. You can just follow me from there and everything. So yeah.
Boy, I dig it.
We lit.
All right.
Hey.
Well,
hey, bro, I appreciate you having me on.
No problem, dog. Anytime. You want to start talking NBA when it comes back, I'll have you on anytime.
Absolutely. I'm down. 100%. I'm down. Let's get it.
All right, bro. Well, I'll let you get to the beautiful house and have a good night, and we'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon, brother.
All right, bro.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully that is not the last interview I do. It was really great catching up with my boy Syspence. Go listen to his stuff. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes, SoundCloud. Just type in Syspence, SYSPENCE. You will not be disappointed. The kid slaps. Obviously, you heard him in our intro. I'll play him on the way out. But that is just one of many songs that he is bumping on. Please go listen to my guy. He is awesome. And go follow him on social media. Really cool to follow. He'll always post some stuff, and he's really open and loose. You know, he'll post videos live with his boys while they're recording and producing and things like that. So really, really cool guy to follow, and I encourage all of you to do so. And other than that's all we got, folks. I appreciate you guys watching and listening. Hopefully we can get some more content out for you guys, and hopefully sports come back sooner rather than later. And other than that, we are out. And as always, people, may the sports be with you. Much love.
Caught up in it, lost up in it. I said, wait a minute, I've been spending all this money, man.